Thank you all so much for taking the time out to attend this session. This topic is very important and close to our heart. The intention behind doing this session, we have done this in the past for those in case somebody is attending it for the second time. We would like to put across that this session we had conducted it very recently, and based on the request from certain clients, we are repeating this session. So the content may more or less be the same, but it's always good to revisit and see if we are on the right track. Our intent is to give a sense of direction and to set the tone of the thing. We would be focusing on the planning part only for the special child. We are not going to go into in-depth for everybody in the family, only for the special child on how to approach, what should be the ways you can look at it, and what in case you're not doing what we doing. I would request all of you who are in this session, it's a learning for me, it's a learning for you. So if there is something that you could also contribute, please, if important websites or links where we are not aware, it would help other participants also. You can put it in the chat box. Let's make this an interactive and a learning session for all of us. So what we first try understanding, as I had mentioned, what is it that is required for special kids? What all does it entails? What are the four or five different overall macro aspects that you should be looking at? We will then try breaking it down into how to approach it, based on planning for the different life stages. How do you budget it? And the most important part, after once we break down the different life stages, we will see how to plan for the different life stages. The third is, what are the investments we should be looking at, and for that, what would be our risk profile, how do we go about it, what are the other important things. Legacy and succession planning. Legacy and succession planning, we are not experts at it. We can connect you to the right entities. But having said this, it's one of the most important aspect of financial planning for anybody, whether you have a special child or not. You don't have a special child, you need to have this in place. It's very, very important. The intricacies and the details are probably a lot more in the case of a special child. So we will just give you an overview. But if you need some expert assistance or advice, please do reach out to us, and we'll be very happy to connect you to the right people. So why is it any financial planning, your man, woman, single parent, whatever stage of life you're in, the basic concept of financial planning can never be different. But here, why planning for a special child is different? All of you have, in case you have a special child, you would have gone through the process, so you know it is you're planning for two different generations, one for yourself and as well as for your the special child. In some cases, each one's story may be different, each one's background may be different. In some cases, it may be lifelong care. In some cases, the child may be in a position to start earning, but you may just have to support it. So each one's circumstance is different. So it's lifelong planning for two generations. It could be either your continual caregiving as well as a goal planning for the self as well as for the child and maybe another child also. So because it's lifelong planning, it is even any financial planning means you need to prioritize your goals, because otherwise you will not know how to allocate your resources. That's the first and the foremost step. So who takes priority? Is it this, or is it this child, or this child, or is it my retirement, or is it my some other goal? So your prioritization of the goals is very important. Accordingly, you will be able to determine where are my resources going to go, minimal resources or optimum resources. How do I do it very optimally so that as much as possible, I'm able to achieve the goals. Third, you need to unlike other normal financial planning where we up to a particular stage we tend to support the child, here you also need to do, because it's continuous care in many cases, you have to work on building a continual support system, either with your friends, relatives, individuals, or even institutions. And legacy planning, that's something you need to focus on. So because it's the time duration is for a much longer time period and it requires more hands-on, the earlier you start, the better. This is something which we have been based on our interactions with a lot of therapy centers and caregivers. The good trend that we are seeing is the intervention is happening at a very early stage, and that's a very positive signs, because at least in some cases we understand that a few things can be reversed if there's an early intervention. Parents are more proactive, there's a lot more awareness, parents are taking the initiative to help others think, and so there's a lot of very positive developments. So if you're not part of any group or something, please do reach out to us. We can connect you. There are many people willing to help, so we'll help connect you and ensure that you're in the right group. We don't need to reinvent the wheel at all times. If there's some ready information, we just need to use it and see how it would fit into our overall goals. Okay, so what is it I need? So when we start out for when we start the process of financial planning for our child, there are many things that we need to keep in mind. So first is we need to understand our child's nature of the child's disability. Is it severe? Is it in a particular spectrum? How do we, what is it? How many years is it going to be for? How do we as parents handle it? So this is the first thing that you need to ask yourself. Second, how is it going to pan out over different life stages? Again, when we say a special child, it could be many things. Some could be very independent, and it's a small issue that you need to address. Some maybe you need to, till they're 25, 30, you need to do a lot more hand holding when compared to other children. So each one's story is different. So how is it going to pan out over different life stages? Some of these questions may be delicate. But as a parent, as a thing, you need to get into the roots of this to be able to put down in numbers, and that's why we will be putting this down. Given the disability, what is the life expectancy of the child? Any long-term planning, be it retirement for us or planning for the special child, we'll have to start with some base. And that's why we need to ask this question, given this disability, based on the information available and the doctor's advice, what is the life expectancy of the child? Fourth important question, will the child be in a position to earn an income in their prime years, or will they need additional support, or will they be totally dependent on us? That will determine a lot of planning from your end. If no, if the child is not able to, it would not be in a position to earn an income for themselves, how do we manage the post retirement scenario for ourselves as well as the child? What will happen when we are no more? What do we do? What are the steps we need to take to ensure that the child does not suffer in any way? What is the one very important question that a lot of parents ask is, what is the standard of life I wish to provide for my child in my absence? There are many options available in today's context. We have also come across a lot of residential homes where the range could be starting from as low as 20,000, and it could go to 4 to 6 lakhs per month also. So based on your aspirations for every child of yours, you need to answer this for the special child also. How do we plan to distribute our assets to the special child so that his or her future is secure? What are the benefits that the government provide? Every government, the state government and the central government, there are benefits that they do provide. We'll need to get into details of this. We have mentioned the National Trust. Most of you may be aware of this website also. They are it's quite useful. So understand the benefits that the government provides to you. Finally, everything about a financial planning is always to do it smartly, efficiently, so that you achieve your goal. So when we are saying efficiently and smartly, taxation plays a very important role in our country. The government does provide a lot of tax benefit. Even so, work around your finances in such a way that you save also on the taxes front. While saving for the goal, planning for this is important. You need to balance your risk, your investments, and the taxation part so that you gain appropriately. So always keep taxation in mind. Okay, so these are some of the things you could start with in case you are someone who's recently gained an understanding on your child's disability and wish to do things in a structured way, you will have to answer some of these questions, and it will give you a good starting point to start the process. So what all does it entail? So there are few main components: short and medium term cash flow planning. So that once you understand the dispute, to get into the process of addressing it, you will, on a short term basis, on a medium term basis, for many years, you will have to undergo therapy costs, regular doctor visits, you will have a attendance, support staff costs, and such related expenses. So there is a aspect of short and medium term cash flow planning. The second is planning for lifelong requirement. Again, I'm repeating, each child is different. So we are just talking of a scenario where you'll also have to plan lifelong. Okay. So you'll have to see what is required for full life expectancy needs. So this could mean they're taking care of their residential needs, their medical expenditure. In case you wish to buy you have to buy a property in that residential needs place, so that their child is secure and the lifelong they can live there. You need to plan for the property purchase. Many parents, many children of many special children parents have an aspiration to take the child on vacations to nice places, so that will also give a different kind of an exposure to the child. That's also something that you need to plan for. So there is a short-term, medium-term planning. There is a planning for lifelong requirements. Contingency planning, I can't emphasize on this more, be it a parent of a special child or otherwise. Life cover, health cover is a must. Please, if you're not addressed this aspect of your overall financial planning, please look into it. If you want, you could also reach us. We will guide you on how to go about it. Life cover is something we have covered. Insurance part is something we have covered. So we will talk about it in detail later also. Try taking along with that disability and income protection. We are in a scenario where jobs are not very secure. So also if there's income loss, look for options to cover that. For a child with special parents of special children, make sure that you also have other types of insurance, which typically people tend to take it a little lightly, like property and other insurance, which help secure the future of this particular child, and definitely emergency corpus. Legal, the fourth aspect is legal and other details. You will have to make a will. Will is important. Will is something that people tend to take lightly. It's gaining importance. People are slowly gaining knowledge on this. So make sure you have a will which is registered. You create a trust. There is a power of attorney given and a guardianship. So we'll again touch upon these aspects. And finally, legacy. How do you leave the legacy? How do you distribute the wealth? So inheritance to the trust, whom will it go to? Who will be managing it? Normal estate planning for the special child as well as other children, and gifting. When there is a gifting for the child, how will it go to the trust? How will it be managed? So these are broadly the aspects that you will need to get into in order to start the process for the child. So first step, let's handle the first step. So the beginning, your child may be a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 10 or 15-year-old, different. Each child may be at a different stage in life. You can start where the child is right now and accordingly split it into different phases. Okay. For simplicity's sake and just to give a sense of direction, we have what we have done is we have assumed that 2 stages: minor stage and adulthood, up to 18 years and above 18 years. And so even for there's an illustrative example that we have shared later. There also I will put across how the assumptions are. So in the minor stage, if there is an early detection and awareness, typically it would involve your diagnosis, your decision making on how you're going to go about it, a continual assessment, and your focus would be more on how to make it more inclusive for the child. Try bringing the child into the mainstream education, mainstream events of life, and try to include the child as much as possible. As they move towards adulthood, your focus would be more on giving them some kind of a vocational education so that there's some income stream coming in on their own due to their own merit, and also planning for inheritance and trust planning from long-term perspective. So these are the two broad stages that you would be looking at. So once you figure out the stage which your child is in, the next step would be to budget and plan for the different expenses. Okay. There are two ways you can do it. Many of you may have already started the process, must be already into it in a very structured and clear manner. But for those who have not, there's something called a perpetual annuity method. We do not subscribe to this, but at least it will give you a base to start with. That is the reason we are covering this. So if your annual requirement for the special child is something like 3 lakh and you expect to earn about 10% per annum, corpus that you need to start with today will be just 3 lakh divided by 10%, you put 30 lakhs. Okay. This is a very raw way of doing it. It does not factor in inflation. It does not factor in life expectancy, the two most important components for any financial planning. But it will at least help you start with. All of us are busy. All of us are caught up in so many other things. So at least take, in case you have not started the process, only then you take this approach. If you need 2 lakhs for the child every year allocated separately, try having investing 20 to start with. This again, it's a very raw method. This is not the structured way of doing it. The other way is trying to break down as much as possible. So we saw the 4 different life stages. One is minor and one is adulthood. So under minor, till 18 years, it could typically, this is not an exhaustive list. Each one may have a different cost structure. So this is broadly what all could entail. You may have your doctor visits, you may have your therapy costs, your inclusive school. Nowadays, I hear a shadow teacher is a must. It has to be a psychology student, and their expense is a separate one. You may have special educators at home. Transportation cost. Transportation takes, many young parents of many small special children tell me that transport takes quite a bit in the initial years, at least, because your therapy visits, your school visits, your other special educators, all those transportation does account for quite a bit. Food, some of the special children require a different type of food. So that's why I've specifically mentioned it. Medical expenditure could also include alternate therapy. Medical emergencies is more of a emergency corpus kind of a planning. So if you're a minor, this could be the thing. As they move through the different life stages, you can see that the type of cost also starts changing. Type of expenses, type of investments that you'll have to do also starts changing gradually. So the intent behind putting this is, for each one of you, it would be a different one. So try breaking down as much as possible what all is it at the different stages that I would be going through. Here I've said minor. Minor is typically minor till they're 18. Adulthood with parental care. Even if the child is special and cannot take care of their own, up to a certain age, maybe up to 30 years or so, they may still be under parental care. So that is what I mean by adulthood under parental care. Here, typically what changes, especially if you have a male child, is you will need to have a male attendant. Lady may not be able to handle a big male child. So small tweaking here and there, small changes in the way you handle the child would start you will start seeing. Adulthood under external care. There will come a phase when you will have to move the child to a residential care. There are many good residential care houses right now. So you'll have to start planning for a long-term medical emergency. Start thinking about the trust creation and all that. And the last is the most delicate phase, most difficult phase, but all of us will have to go through it. And it's the first and the second parent's demise. that's when you need to start thinking of whether you have the trust management and income distribution in phase. So try breaking it down as much as possible. So the earlier you put in the effort, it will be easier for you to handle it. After once we do the basics in place, it is more about how we manage it after a period of time. Property purchase. Many residential schools, I understand, insist on the parents also buying a property along with that for the special child. Not all of them insist on it, but some of them do. So if your child is young, probably you at a very young age, you'll buy the property and keep so that it will come of help at a later stage. So we will show it with an illustrative example here. There is an actual backend Excel calculation that has been done. Again, it is more of a general, the intent is to give you a sense of direction. So focus of this particular illustrative example is planning only for the special child. We have assumed that the child planning starts at the age of 2. Okay. And we will be looking at 3 stages: minor, adulthood under parental care, and adulthood under residential care and senior care. Even for the child, we have assumed a life expectancy of 85 years and that there's been nothing done by the parents till now. Okay. Numbers are only indicative and they are not facts. So each one of you may have a different outlook and different approach to it. Accordingly, work it out. We have not assumed vacation goal. Vacation increasingly I see is a very important aspirational goal for many parents, for irrespective whether it's a special child or not. But we have not assumed that because we have tried to keep it as simple as possible. And we have also not included other recurring expenses like your insurance premium, health cover premiums and all that. It's more to take care of other costs. Okay. So in the minor stage, so as I was saying, it is very important for you to break down what will be my doctor visits, how many doctor visits would I be having, is it going to be quarterly, is it going to be annual, what is the cost per doctor visit. Try breaking it down as much as possible. This whatever the table that we have prepared is based on our interaction with several parents. It may be different in your case. So how many therapy visits, how much will I be spending on fuel and petrol and diesel and all that? Food and medical expenditure, is it different for my child or is it as part of same expenses? And medical emergency. Okay. So this is for the minor stage. So typically if the cost at minor stage comes to 67,000, including planning for the medical emergency during the minor stage of 5 lakhs, total annual cost will be around 11 lakh 12,000 per year, excluding the medical emergency, and 5 lakh 16 lakh 12,000, including medical emergency. Okay. Similarly, you'll have to do this for the adulthood. So this age we have taken as 2 to 18. This is from 19 to 35. Here, as they move to the different life stages, the type of expenses varies. So it's gradually comes down. So you have only your attendant costs, vocational education, food and medical expenditure, and so on and so forth. Here also we have just budgeted for another 5 lakhs. Okay. Final is when the child is between 36 to 85 years, and you want to move them to a residential school because it may get increasingly difficult for parents also to take care of the child. So this is that stage when the annual, I have assumed here that it will be 1 lakh per month for the monthly residential housing costs. This includes food and everything else. As I mentioned, it can start from 20,000 a month to 4-5 lakhs also is what I've been given. I don't have, I've not spoken to somebody at that who have enrolled their child with the 4 to 5 lakhs per month kind of facility. But this is what I get to hear. Please correct me in case this information is inaccurate. So, and here, because it's the time duration is for a much longer time period from 36 to 85 years, we have assumed a higher medical emergency allocation of 20 lakhs. Okay. Property purchase is something that again, we have not factored in. So break it into different stages of the child's life that will make your life simpler. It's a one-time effort. You can build on it like any financial plan. You can build on it, you can modify it, but you have to start with a base. So once you start with the base, let me see if my Excel is open. So this has been actually worked out. So if somebody needs assistance, we have done it. So what adulthood and parental care, we had taken today's cost. So we have also seen to it that the current cost is at when they are 19 years. So what would 7,80,000 assuming 6% inflation be when you're actually cost when they are 19? It will be 21 lakhs, and then you work it backwards. Okay. So this has been done after checking with the numbers. Okay. So coming back to the sheet, we can share this in case somebody is interested. If you see broadly, based on the assumptions that we have taken, our numbers, which may be on the higher side, we are getting, you should be doing a monthly investment of about 2,40,000 or annual investment of 28 lakhs. But this is for lifelong planning. This is not for planning for the next few years. Okay, so don't get overwhelmed by the numbers. This is lifelong planning, and your assumptions and your circumstances may be very different from what I'm showing right now. So please work it out on an individual basis, either on your own or reach out to somebody, a financial advisor or somebody who can help you with this. The intent as written here also is to just give you a sense of direction on what needs to be done, what is possible, and you how to go about it. Okay. So there are a few things that please keep in mind. So inflation, whether it's planning for a special child or us or a vacation goal or the other child's education goal or everything, inflation is a reality. So when you're taking inflation, be realistic about it. Better to take it on the higher side, or on the higher side than on the lower side. So please, when you're making your projections, keep inflation in mind. Break down expenses as much as possible. That will help you for planning for the short term, long term, and knowing when should my money be in debt, when should my money be in equity, so on and so forth. So break down the expenses as much as possible. Again, I just mentioned it. Please do not get overwhelmed with initial numbers. Any financial planning we have come across, people more the initial reaction is, oh my God, I need to do so much. No, it's not. The numbers look big, but it's about starting. It's just about starting the process. The younger your child is, the better. Don't delay it. The intent is for you to start the process so that you are more prepared. Any normal financial planning also, it's not that all of them are able to achieve all goals, but at least you are moving in that direction. Please enroll into a network. This is something I mentioned at the beginning of the session also. Please enroll into groups. All parents must be doing a wonderful job with this. Don't try reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of support groups, support help. So you utilize them to avail this, improvise learning on this. Here, one very important assumption. So this 2,40,000 is assuming that the SIP would continue till the age when the corpus is required. This is a very big assumption. Let me try explaining this. So if I am 47, I'm going to retire when I'm 60, just as an example. My child is only 13, but I need to plan till my child is 85 years old. And in this particular example, I've assumed that if I do an SIP of 60,000 when the child is in adulthood, for the adulthood external care stage, I will be doing for quite some time. Okay, but I may retire. After retire, even I need to figure out whether I'll be able to do that SIP or not. Okay, so it would not work that way. So you need to customize your financial plan based on your circumstances. You may be 30s, in your 30s, you may be in your 40s, you may have entered 50s, whatever. So accordingly, rework the numbers. Okay, this is a very important point when you're working out on how much I can do as monthly and long-term investments. So now that we have tried budgeting and breaking down the expenses, projecting, keeping inflation in mind. Inflation, just one more thing I'll mention is try having a higher inflation number for medical expenses. Medical and education inflation are the most expensive. They're at least 10 to 14%. Okay. So keep that in mind. And once we have done that, we have arrived at a basic corpus. The very important step is to reach a risk profile and investment options. So here it is general, it applies to everybody. Please understand what is your risk profile, what and how much risk requires to be taken. So your risk profile should be a combination of risk required for the goal, your risk capacity, and your risk tolerance. So which I'll try explaining it with an example. If I have aspiration to send my child, just as an example, send my child to overseas. Today, in the so-called premium locations of US, UK, Australia, Singapore, and all, it's at least 2.5 crores. Okay, the overall cost spread over 4 to 5 years, at least. So when the cost is 2.5 crores, if my child is 3 to 4, 5 years, if my vaguely that I remember that I've done for somebody, I should be investing at least 1,80,000 or something like that per month to be able to afford that kind of education by the time they're 18. Okay. If I put it in something like an FD, which is going to give me only 7% or 6.5% if it's a top tier banks, I may not be able to achieve the goal. So that's the part of risk required. Does this goal require me to take a higher risk? Do I have the time horizon to do it? Second is risk tolerance. How much risk am I willing to take or see? Am I somebody who panics even if it falls 1 or 2%? I cannot see my money going down, or even if it comes down by 10 to 15%, it's fine. I know the markets will correct and the investments will come back. So risk tolerance. So the first part is risk required, second is risk tolerance, and third is risk capacity. There are many, why risk capacity is also very important is there are many. If you when we do out the financial planning for a lot of our clients, we do the household budget, we see they have a huge surplus. But that surplus will either go into an RD or FD. Nothing wrong or right about any of this. I'm not judging them or I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying if you have aspirations that require you to take a different approach, you need to also change the way you're looking at your risk profile. So do I have the capacity to take higher risk? If you have a huge surplus, monthly surplus, both of you are earning, you have a huge monthly surplus, maybe you can take slightly a higher risk than what you're taking right now. So it's a combination of all this. So understand this risk is the most important. It's like how we say health cover, term cover, emergency corpus is the first step. After that, I will say understand your risk profile, your goals, and understand how much risk I need to take. When once you determine yours, also determine the risk profile of the various investments. I tell people, anybody, nothing wrong if you have a low risk profile, nothing wrong if you have a very high risk profile. The idea is to match both of them and see whether it is helping you achieve your goals. That's the most important part. There's nothing wrong or right about anything else. So understand the risk profile of your investments. Any investment, whether you're doing, whomever you're doing it for, whatever goal you're doing it for, there are three things that you need to ask yourself: risk, return, and liquidity. Not all of us can afford to have too much of our investments into illiquid venues. When I say illiquid today, most of the investment avenues give an option to come out of it, like even EPF, NPS, and all that stuff. But try understanding that not all of us can put it into too many illiquid investment avenues. So before getting into any investment, FD or mutual funds or stocks, ask yourself these three questions. What is the risk of this investment and is it matching my risk profile? What is the return? Is it helping me to beat inflation? And is liquidity? Tomorrow something happens, can I take out the money? These three things you should always ask yourself, okay? So these sit down the various investment avenues, gradually increasing their risk profile from low to moderate and so on. Here, I would just like to give a perspective. 2 years back, there was a big important taxation change for debt instruments. Okay, all the debt instruments earlier, if you were holding it for more than 3 years, you could it qualified as a long-term gain. Now everything is gone. Any debt bought after March 31st, since April 1st, 2023, any interest, income, or gain on any debt product is just charged at your income tax slab. So debt products post tax, post inflation may not be a very efficient kind of an instrument, but it may match your risk. So be aware when you're getting into this kind of an investment. Second is, you could also look at here parents of special children. For them, a regular income stream helps. So you could look at an immediate and deferred annuity to plan the cash flows at a later year. But just annuity, one point we would like to mention is that returns are very low, post are really low. So, and you don't know what annuity rates you will get at that point in time. So keep that in. Guaranteed tax-free income options are a very wise and much better option because tax-free and you lock rates at 6.5 in today's context, 6.5 to 7% for 25 to 30 years. So before you get in a hurry, go in for an annuity or something of that sort, explore guaranteed tax income options, which you can also gradually build up. Government allows you 5 lakhs per annum per year. Then whatever income you get that you invest in these products will be tax free. Look at PPF, look at Sukanya Samriddhi. There are good investment avenues amongst the only two which are exempt at all levels. Okay. You can look at hybrid funds. Hybrid, right from equity savings to a dynamic asset allocation to aggressive thing. If your risk profile is not very high, you can look at hybrid funds for a long-term investment option. Okay. Then you gradually move to pure equity. You can move to PMS. You can have a direct stock portfolio. So each one has its own taxation benefit, the returns profile. Understand the risk, return, and liquidity thing. So every goal if for a short-term time span, maybe in short and medium term, maybe the first year can be still be in debt. From the second to the fifth year, look at hybrid funds, and above 5 years, invest something into equity funds. So you need to plan it in such a way that I will not touch this portion till my child is 15. I'll touch this portion when they are 20 to 25, something like that. So keep the taxation in mind. Now the government says tax rates across asset classes. So your decision is based on your goal more than the tax benefit across all these investment options. Keep the risk, return, taxation, and liquidity profile of every investment avenue before you get into that particular product. Reverse mortgage option and real estate. Lot of them, especially in case they have started the planning a little late, you can explore the reverse mortgage option for securing the future of yours as well as the special needs child. But you need to have clarity on who the legal heir would be in case the property owner's demise. And please have those dynamics in place before you get into some such option. Real estate, it is better to be more skewed towards financial assets, I would say, but each one's situation is different. Don't go overboard on real estate. You're depending only on the rental income, and that rental income is again not reinvested. Yields are only 2-3%. They've improved in the last few years, but they're still not very impressive. Have it as one of the options, but don't go overboard on real estate. Okay, so consider each option for its merit based on the risk and your liquidity requirements. To follow an asset allocation approach, it will always help you. May not give you the best returns in short term, it will help you deliver more optimum returns, beating inflation, beating tax in the long run. So the other important aspect is you should look at insurance. Term cover for both the parents is a must. If typically we are seeing the lady of the house tends to give up her, the child requires that kind of care and attention. So that in case something happens to her, there is a cost attached to finding somebody who can replace also. So a life cover for both the parents is a must. In a norm in an alternate situation, we sometimes only for the earning member. Please don't compromise in this. Try taking a whole life cover even if it's more expensive. Or if you can't afford that, then go for a simple term cover. It's much more cost effective, but may expire prior to the actual crucial phase when the child may actually need it. You could also go in for a joint life option and by exploring to take. There are plenty of riders today. Maybe the two most important ones, which is critical illness and income protection. Try looking at the riders. They add on to the cost, but they may be helpful in the long run. This is just a way how you can, very simple, very basic way how you can look at determining how arrive at how life cover you, because many of you may have already taken one. So if your total cost you require is about 2 crores, deduct how much term cover already available as well as investments. Only the balance you can take it for the time being, maybe slightly over there. So in this particular individual example, this person needs another life cover of about 50 lakhs given today's numbers. Health cover cannot emphasize more on this. Most of you may be familiar with Nirmaya health cover, which gives up to 1 lakh per year. These are the ailments that are covered: autism, cerebral palsy, mental retardation. These are some of them that are covered. There's a lot of information in National Trust website on this, and a cover is available in all the states barring Jammu and Kashmir. The other one that we have come across is Swavlamban, which is offered by New India Assurance. Again, annual renewal. Here, the cover is very low. It's less than 3 lakhs per annum. It's for 18 to 65 years. But still, one can look at this as an alternate option besides Nirmaya. These are two policies. I would request you to do your own study also. We came across from Bajaj and United Insurance. One is Samaveshi Suraksha and one is Nidan Swasthya Bima policy. A lot of, if ICICI, many, I know I'm not promoting any particular entity, many general insurance providers have started introducing health covers for special children. Even otherwise, no, I'm aware of many simple floater policies that parents have taken where a special child can be included. Not anything, at least for normal visits or normal ailments, you can look at having a basic floater policy in place. So please have a health cover sufficient for yourself, your children, the special child, so that later you don't have to dig into savings for any emergencies. Other insurance schemes we touched upon also. Good to take, especially if you have a special child, like home insurance, professional, because a lot of income streams may be attached to any particular property. So don't undermine the importance of this. Just make sure if somebody is in business, have a professional liability insurance so that tomorrow some loss of income to the job, the child's future is at least secured. Okay. So that besides your basic health and term cover, these are the things, if you can afford it, if you can manage it, please look into these aspects also. So there are a few general guidelines that I would say: debt mutual funds or debt products. Not go in for it, but be aware that the post-tax returns are very low and they're not a very tax-efficient product in today's context. Hybrid funds, post-tax returns are moderate to high and they're more tax efficient if you're ready to wait for that 1 year time period. PPF, EPF, Sukanya Samriddhi must have an overall basket, but have an asset allocation approach. Too much into any one asset class is not advisable. So keep reviewing taxation for these avenues also. Definitely have them as one of your investment avenues, but do it in a very structured way. Insurance plus investment, other than if it's a guaranteed tax-free income product, be careful. From this budget, I think even ULIP is not tax-free. So be aware of the rules of the taxation before you get into insurance plus investment. Returns are not great. So make sure that falls in the tax-free bracket and it fits into your overall goals. It helps you meet your overall goals. Until and unless it's something like a guaranteed tax which will give you regular cash flows for a long period of time, we normally would not advise it. So general guidelines for investment, for anyone investments, it's very burdensome on the pocket if you have to do it as a lump sum. So most practically every investment today can be done as a monthly investment, a stock SIP, a mutual fund SIP, or NPS, your PPF, everything can be done on a monthly basis. So plan your household budget accordingly. You try stepping up your monthly investment every year. Even a 5% increase in your SIP every year can make a huge difference to the end corpus. So I like a broken record, I'm talking about it. Strike a right balance between liquidity and lock-in. So don't get into too many instruments with a very high lock-in. You need to have liquidity also. At the same time, risk and returns also. Some goals require an informed risk to be taken. Like if it's long-term planning, you have the time horizon. So it's okay to take higher risks for some goals. Being well covered on the insurance front is mandatory, and try building a passive source of income like the guaranteed tax-free income products or a dividend income. Try building a guaranteed passive source of income so that there's a regular cash flow coming. For this, you'll have to start, and it should not be very asset heavy. When I say asset heavy, too much into property, because property again is not very liquid. So keep these general guidelines. This is just a sense of direction. We'll have to go into details of each person to know what would work the best for you. Legacy and succession planning, I'm just repeating, we are not experts at this, but this is more to give you a sense of direction that how important this part is. So leaving legacy. So there are ways in which you can do it. Leaving legacy to the special child. So in this case, the first one, still child receives assets, obviously not recommended because the child may not be capable of taking a decision. Leaving legacy to a family member, the next best option. But again, you should really trust the family member. You should be sure that the person has the best interest of the family member in their heart and mind. So not sure. Each one comes from a different kind of a family. So you need to take your own call on this. Leaving legacy to a trust, most advisable, most viable option for securing the child's future, because the child would be the beneficiary. It can be created by the parents or a group of parents, and assets are assigned to a trust. Leaving legacy to an institution, this is an emerging trend and concept where people are leaving on their in their absence, the income will go to that particular institution. It's a lot of trust factor that plays, but this is apparently I hear is prevalent in developed countries and is slowly coming to India also. So if you're aware of this, please drop in some link or something so that we also can share this information with other parents. Will, very important. Try having your will registered. So what does a will do? Will help you address issues of distribution ownership, especially if you have another child. Okay, avoids a lot of disputes. Property cases account for almost 70% of the pending legal cases in the country. So it's not that it will solve all problems, but at least avoids disputes in a lot of cases. The most important part why you need to write a will, whether you have a special child or not, is your intent is clear on how you want your income to be distributed. What do you want for the child? How do you, who should be getting what? Register the will again. It remains in safe custody of the registrar, and it can be opened only on the demise of the person or if you ask for a specific permission. Okay, so please do not undermine this particular step. Most parents of special children adopt this particular route. So there is the structure is there's a separate legal entity with no individual owners, and the beneficiary will be the special child only. The management of the trustee will be will be there'll be a few trustees who will be managing it, and who will they be? They could be friends, relatives, or some other family member, or a combination of this. So typically, people have a combination of friends, their immediate siblings, the parents' immediate siblings, and probably one independent person who would very objectively look at that child. Who can gift assets to the trust? Anybody, maybe friends and relatives. And typically it is for both movable and immovable. This is the most commonly adopted approach for legacy planning and succession planning for a child in most cases. So it's there's a lot of information available with it. In case you would like to speak to someone who already done this, we can help you connect to the right person. So this is how it will, private trust, it can be created through a will or a trust deed. So there's a specific trust or a discretionary trust where either the income stream is clearly specified, distribution of income is clearly specified or not specified. Okay. So these are just basic information. We will, if you need more, either put down in the chat box or reach out to us. We'll connect you to the right person. We do not want to speak more on this because we are not experts on this. Have the one of the important things as part of the legacy and succession planning is also having a power of attorney and ensuring you take guardianship of the child. Once the child turns 18, please take legal guardianship, because you are not legal guardians till the court approves it. Okay. Have a general durable power of attorney, because it will hold valid even after the death of the principal. So not a general power of attorney because it's not valid. So understand these concepts while you're doing your legacy and succession planning. So these are the different steps which we have just spoken about. Taxation benefit, typically it's on the medical front. You have for when you claim for some kind of a disability, it is, if it's 80DD, 80DD and 80DDB are the most commonly used one. If it's 75,000, if the disability is less than 80%, and 1,25,000 if it's more than 80%. So these are the commonly used taxation benefits from a disability perspective that we have come across. If you know of any other section which is widely used, I request you to put it in the box. So what are the things that are good to have and avail? Most of you would be having a disability certificate from the government. This is very important to claim a lot of benefits. Have a unique disability ID that the government provides. Practically every mode of transport gives you travel concessions. So make sure you avail of these benefits, and you can also get a monthly pension. This monthly pension is different for each and is decided by state governments. Tamil Nadu gives a different pension for the same disability Karnataka gives. So understand the rules of your particular state and please do avail of it. If the government is giving it to you, don't take it for granted, and please make sure you put in the effort to avail these. These are better places. So if you would like to share it with others, please put down links to important websites, both on the education school as well as on insurance and how to go about it. So brings us to the end of the thing. I hope you found it useful. You can give us your inputs. You would like to speak to us also, do let us. Very quickly about Right Horizons. We have been in this domain, investment advisory, financial planning domain for the last almost 22 years now. We'll be completing 22 this November. So we have managed about 5,000 crores, helping people starting out with financial planning and helping them with investments across. Close to about, we have 5 branches spread across the country. So if you would like to visit any of our colleagues based in other key cities, we'd be happy to connect you with them. These are our credentials. So thank you so much once again for taking the time out. Hope you found it useful. And yeah, Tara, I can take questions right now. One very important thing, we have attached a financial health check survey. It helps to give you an overall perspective on where your finances are. So please do, it just takes about 2-3 minutes. Please request you to take that survey. It would help you give you an overall perspective.